Hi, in this video we are going to learn the circumference of circles and how to calculate it. Well, the idea behind circumference and perimeter is the same basically, but the definition of perimeter is adding the side length. So we sort of have straight lines here, right? So we can measure this side, this is a rectangle, so we know that these are equal, so we can just add the side lengths and find the perimeter of this rectangle. Whereas in a circle we don't have sides, it's a curved surface. So although we are talking about the length of this circle, right, we can't just say it's the perimeter. So we call it as a circumference because it's a curved circle. We don't have sides to add, so we need something else, which is the formula of circumference. So basically it is C for circumference equals 2 times pi times r. Now, in the past, you might be using pi to be 3 or 3.1 or 3.14 or even 3.142. Now that we are using our calculators, we're going to use pi as is, right? So while calculating circumference, we're not going to use any rounded value for pi, we're going to use the pi itself. So let's see an example. Work out the circumference of the circle with radius 6 centimeters. So radius is the line from the origin, the center of the circle to the circle itself, right? So this is the radius, and it's given to be 6 centimeters. All I have to do is to write down C equals 2 times pi times 6. So I substitute the value of the radius into the formula. So this becomes C equals 2 times 6, which is 12, so it's 12 pi. Now, I show you this because if the question is asking you to find the exact value, this is the exact value. You're not rounding anything, you just leave it as 12 pi, as in pi, all right? So if the question is asking you the exact value, you end up with 12 pi. Whereas if it says give your answer correct to 3 significant figures, then after the substitution step, you can just write all this sentence into your calculator and find 37.699 and so on. This goes up to infinity, that number. But, I mean, that's the reason why they're asking us to write our answer to 3 significant figures. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3 significant figures, so I cut it from here. This number is 9, bigger than 5, so my approximate answer, this is how I show it, my approximate answer will be 37.7 centimeters squared, right? So this is my answer to 3 significant figures. Now, how are you going to write this sentence into your calculator? Now, you could write this to be 2 pi without the multiplication sign times 6 if you'd like, or you could write 2 times pi times 6, it doesn't matter. So this is the times symbol here that you're going to use in between. Now for pi, you're going to use shift and then standard form button. You can see this teeny tiny pi written here. So if you press shift first and then the standard form button, you're going to have pi appear on your screen, right? So you're going to write 2 times shift standard button, you're going to get the pi, right? And then times 6 and then hit equal sign, you're going to get your answer. Now let's look at this example. It says calculate the circumference of the circle with diameter 17 centimeters. Now, if we're talking about diameter, we're talking about the whole distance from one point on the circle to the other. So this is the longest line you can draw inside the circle, and it passes through the origin. All right. So basically, the diameter is consisted of two radii. So it's this part is r, and this is also r. So I can say that the diameter is basically 2 times r. Well, if that is the case, and I know that my formula says 2 pi r, and I need the value of r, right? So I could go divide 17 by 2. That's going to be 8.5. So this is my radius. And then I'm going to substitute here 2 times pi times 8.5. And when I do the calculation with my calculator, I'll have 53.4070 and so on. Well, I didn't mention it here, but let's say this is 3 significant figures again. In general, the questions ask you to round the numbers of circumference or area of a circle to 3 significant figures, but of course it's always best to read the question to make sure. All right? So if I round this to 3 significant figures, I cut from here. Well, I have 0 here, so there is nothing to add to the left-hand side. I'm going to end up with 53.4 centimeters. All right? So this is how I deal with the circumference of the circle. If I'm given a diameter, I have to divide the given diameter by 2 to find the radius, and substitute into the formula and calculate. Now look at this example. The circumference of a circle is given to be 31.42 to 2 decimal places. So the circumference has already been calculated. So what are they asking? They're asking the length of the radius. So basically, we have the formula, right? C equals 2 times pi times r. This is given to be 31.42. So someone calculated the circumference of this circle. They're now asking us to find the radius. Now remember that 2 and pi are constant numbers, right? They're not unknowns. Unknown here is r. So basically, I can just divide both sides by 2 pi, right? I'm doing this to cancel out 2's and pi's so that I'm going to end up with r alone. So this is what I'm going to write in my calculator to find the radius. When I do so, I get 5.0006 and so on. From here, I can conclude that actually r is 5 centimeters because I know that the circumference is rounded. Yeah. So if I go with 5 only, that's totally okay because this is a very small decimal part. So I can just ignore this bit and end up saying that the radius is 5. So basically, I'm just solving an equation here. I have to get rid of those 2 pi's, so I have to divide both sides by 2 pi and end up with the radius. Now is your turn. Please solve these questions on your book and submit your answers online. Thank you.